Hello friends, it's me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to Catechism for Kids. Today we're going to learn about a truly incredible saint whose life was like an epic adventure story. He was a soldier, a rebel leader, a prisoner in the freezing land of Siberia, and finally, a gentle Carmelite priest. His name is São Rafael Kalinowski, and his story is one of amazing courage, forgiveness, and faith. St. Raphael's feast day is celebrated on November 19th by the Carmelite Order and on November 20th in his home country of Poland. So, let's dive into the extraordinary life of this hero of the faith. Before he was St. Raphael, he was known as Joseph Kalinowski. He was born in 1835 in Vilnius, which is now the capital of Lithuania, but back then was part of a region with strong Polish heritage under Russian rule. Joseph was from a noble family and was incredibly smart. He loved learning, especially math and science. He was such a brilliant student that he went on to become a military engineer, which is someone who designs and builds things for the army, like bridges and fortresses. He even became a captain in the Russian army. But Joseph's heart was always with his own people, the Polish people, who longed to be free from Russian rule. In 1863, a big event called the January Uprising began. Polish patriots rose up to fight for their independence. Even though he was an officer in the Russian army, Joseph knew he had to support his own people. He resigned his position and secretly became the Minister of War for the uprising in the Vilnius region. He wasn't a soldier on the battlefield this time, but he used his skills to help organize the resistance. He tried his best to lead with fairness, even opposing harsh sentences for enemies, because he believed in mercy. Unfortunately, the uprising was not successful. The Russian authorities were very powerful, and in 1864, Joseph Kalinowski was arrested. His role as a leader meant he was given the most severe punishment. He was sentenced to death. Imagine how terrifying that must have been. His family pleaded for his life, and the Russian government, perhaps fearing that executing him would make him a martyr and inspire more rebellion, changed his sentence. It was still a terrible fate. He was sentenced to 10 years of hard labor in the frozen, desolate land of Siberia. The journey to Siberia was a punishment in itself. For 9 long months, Joseph and other prisoners were forced to march thousands of miles in harsh conditions. Many did not survive. Once they arrived, they were put to work in the salt mines, a grueling and dangerous job. It was a place of deep suffering and hopelessness. But this is where Joseph's true strength, his spiritual strength, began to shine brightly. Instead of giving in to despair or anger, he turned to his faith. He shared what little he had with his fellow prisoners. He nursed the sick, offered words of comfort, and organized prayers. He became a beacon of light in that dark place. The other prisoners saw his incredible compassion and looked to him for spiritual guidance. He was a source of hope for everyone. During these 10 years of suffering, his own faith grew deeper and stronger. He once wrote that it was in Siberia that he learned that true happiness comes not from worldly success, but from doing God's will, even in the midst of pain. After 10 long years, in 1873, Joseph was finally released from the labor camp. However, he was still considered in exile and was not allowed to return to his home. He moved to Paris, France, and found work as a tutor for a young Polish prince named August Czartoryski. Joseph became a great influence on the young prince, not just teaching him academics, but also sharing his deep faith. Prince August would later become a Salesian priest himself and is now on the path to sainthood, known as Blessed August. Blessed August Czartoryski was beatified by Pope John Paul II on April 25, 2004, and his memorial is celebrated on August 2nd, the date of his birth. But God had an even more specific plan for Joseph. During all his trials, a desire had been growing in his heart to dedicate his entire life to God. So, in 1877, at the age of 42, Joseph Kalinowski made a life-changing decision. He joined the Descalços Carmelite Order, a community of friars dedicated to a life of deep prayer. He took a new name to signify his new life, Raphael of St. Joseph. In 1882, he was ordained a priest. Now known as Father Raphael, he was sent back to the Polish lands, where the Carmelite order had been struggling. He worked tirelessly to bring it back to life. He helped found new monasteries for friars and convents for nuns. He was a gifted confessor, someone who people could talk to about their struggles and find God's mercy. People from all walks of life, both Catholics and Orthodox Christians, came to him for guidance. They said his presence was so peaceful and holy that he was like a living prayer. He spent hours in the confessional, offering forgiveness and wise advice. One of the convents he founded was in a small town called Ładowice. This is a special detail because 14 years after Father Raphael died there, a baby boy named Karol Wojtyła was born in that same town. Are you familiar about that baby boy, Karol Wojtyła? That boy would grow up to become Pope John Paul II, and now he is a saint as well. As a young man, Karol Wojtyła was inspired by the story of Father Raphael, who he considered a personal hero. Father Raphael died on November 15, 1907, known by all for his incredible holiness. The people who knew him were so sure he was a saint that when he was buried, pilgrims would come and take handfuls of dirt from his grave as a relic, a special reminder of a holy person. Years later, the Church officially recognized his heroic life. In 1983, Pope John Paul II returned to Poland to beatify him, declaring him blessed. And then, in 1991, in Rome, that same pope, who was born in the same town as Father Raphael, had the great joy of canonizing him, officially declaring him a saint for the whole world to know. Saint Rafael Kalinowski is the patron saint of soldiers, engineers, railway workers, and those exiled to Siberia. His life teaches us a powerful lesson. It shows us that no matter what happens, no matter how much we suffer or how unfair life seems, God can bring good out of it. He can turn our pain into strength, our struggles into holiness. Saint Raphael was a soldier for his country, but he became a soldier for Christ. He was a prisoner in a land of ice, but his heart was burning with the fire of God's love. He shows us that a brave heart can become a holy heart. So, whenever you face a difficult time, remember Saint Rafael Kalinowski. Remember that with faith, you can be a source of hope for others. And God can use your challenges to make you even stronger and holier. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you were inspired by the amazing life of Saint Rafael Kalinowski. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories about the saints. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as usual. We'll see you next time, and may the Lord bless and keep you always.